Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana is moving down here pretty much as expected. Yesterday we talked about it possibly reaching its next key support at $108. That would have been the lower range here, the lower support level of that yellow target box that I did identify here for that wave 4. And yeah, it did get to that level. It even broke below it. As I did say, the next key support, if you break that, will here be the $100 level, and we're not far away from that anymore. We saw on the chart here something like a head and shoulders. We also saw yesterday this beginning of a downtrend, the lower high here, and the apex, and then Solana broke below that ascending trend line here. Don't know if we can now rearrange. Sometimes you can rearrange trend lines, so maybe if I try to do this now, we can get an understanding if it is still above a trend line like that. Maybe we have to rearrange it, but it's never a good sign if you have to rearrange these and make them lower, because now, as you can see, that is why it found support. You can rearrange that trend line, but in the end as well, what is that for a pattern? That's a ascending broadening wedge. Again, rather bearish pattern. Yeah, normally not a very often you can't see it very often, these patterns, but they are pretty much also bearish patterns like an ascending wedge. This is just an ascending broadening wedge, meaning that also here on the way up, the buyers are struggling to push the price much higher. And on the other hand, the sellers are still fairly strong. And as you can see, we are currently here at this key support level at $104 US. So if we lose that, quite confident we can get to the $100 level again. And then we are already back at the target area of that correction. So with Solana, what I said is that at any point it could now complete its whole correction, yeah. But the move up here was not as nice and as impulsive as, for example, you can see it on the Ripple chart or on the Ethereum chart. So it still looks very corrective actually. Also, Solana did not even reach the $128 level. That would have been for a wave 4 the ideal level. Doesn't matter though, it did get into the target area and it did do the minimum what it needs to do in the wave 4. So it did break here that $107 level. That was the 0.214 fib level for the correction, and the 0.382 fib level here would have been 128. And in this wave 4, it still has space actually to move higher to $143. I mean, just because it dropped now below this yellow target area, it doesn't mean the wave 4 needs to be over. A wave 4 can be very long, but the thing is, how long can it really stay in this ascending broadening wedge? Don't think it can stay in there much longer. We will need to see a decision here fairly soon. I mean, to be honest, if it now moves up from here, it would be quite a bit of a jump, as you can see here already. That could go up all the way to maybe $130, maybe 128. That could be the next level, the next 0.382 fib level it could reach. I'm not necessarily expecting it anymore to get there. It's very interesting what the cryptos are doing here at the moment, because they are making lower lows already. Yeah, so maybe that final correction has already started, but then again, we don't really know until we really see here lower lows. You never know until you really see lower lows. You can always only assume. And what I'd like to see here is now either a significantly higher low compared to the previous low, and I mean a significant one. So we would need to see something like where we moved up here, then you move down. You want to see something like that, where you're coming down, find support above that wave 3, and that would then for me be at least more confirmation that we are moving higher from here. If it breaks down, it does something like here, yeah, basically then you can expect here this a very strong and impulsive move down. At the moment, it's still very careful. Yes, there is a risk that the market is rolling over here, pretty much as we expect on this channel. But until, yeah, it still is above support. So I would, I think when it gets back into this target area here below $100, then also we can get more confident that we're already in this wave 4. But as I said before, now, after we reached here my red target area down here that we talked about back in November, I'm actually happy. It's done what it needs to do in the correction. Does it come once more down or not? I'm not too interested. I mean, I'm interested, but I'm not like, it has to do it, because it did it before. It did it, and now that scenario is done. Yeah. The correction is over, and at any point it could start with new all-time highs here. It has done what it needs to do in the correction. However, it, to be fair, to a degree depends on Bitcoin now. I still primarily, and I did say it before, I still primarily expect here a wave 5 to the downside. The reason for that is that Solana still has, obviously it has reached here the yellow target area for that wave 4. Perfect wave 4 scenario, yeah. It hasn't gone above it or anything. It has reached it. We see a reaction to the target area, and it's now starting to head down. So primarily, this expectation has not changed, and I would still expect it primarily, yeah, maybe with a 70 to 75% probability to move down here once more into the red target area. That would need to be below the previous, or at least the same level, but probably more likely below the previous low here that I have highlighted as wave 3 at around $82. And the key level below that would be those $55. Certainly possible to reach it. The indicators would support that, but pretty much at the moment we are here at some kind of a tipping point, because throughout these weeks here, yeah, I remained bearish. I remained focused on this target area here, and now I'm saying, right, it did reach the target area. We see a fairly strong reaction to the target area. It could complete its correction at any point. Everybody who's not gone in here, that was your decision. But this area is the area where with the highest probability I expect a turnaround. Yeah, so does it come down once more? I still primarily expect it, but it doesn't necessarily have to, okay? At the moment we're coming down here, and yeah, I will keep you updated about how it's gonna hold support here. Currently finding support, but even this ascending broadening wedge, I would expect rather to break to the downside. And if we zoom out, you can actually see that the current wave 4 here doesn't look in any way different. It looks even more bearish, actually, even more corrective than any of these moves up here. Yeah, throughout this whole downtrend, you had counter reactions. You had this wave B here. This wave B looked very strong. Yeah. Then you had your wave 2 here that looked even less strong. And now you have a wave 4, which typically does what a wave 4 does. It doesn't move up very strongly. It's boring, it's long-winded, it's up and down. And especially if the wave 2 is rather strong to the upside, the wave 4 is rather shallow, not that strong. And that is exactly what it's doing. So I actually have no reason to believe that it should be over here, that downtrend. But the possibility exists because it did reach my target down here. That's pretty much the message. Also, short-term indicators actually confirm further downside potential. Not much more before we should find support here on the 4-hour chart. You're nearly oversold, but on the MACD still does not show decreasing selling pressure, so that's still ongoing. Let's see what the daily says. On the daily, we are potentially seeing a turnaround. I think if we see that daily bearish cross, last time we saw a bullish cross here, that was basically the beginning of that wave 4. If we now see a bearish cross here on the daily, that could be then that wave 5, the final wave in the correction that I would expect. Let's see, it's getting very interesting, and let's see what it's doing on the weekend. All right, hopefully you liked the update about Solana. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And as always, if you really like the content, maybe you want to consider to join as a channel member. You can do that on my website or here on YouTube, and you can find the links for that in the video description. Then you can get access to Discord, Telegram, and a weekly live stream. And also you can see my buy and sell orders. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.